Alrighty, we are getting to work on my PE COFF deep dive again today. Before we get started, just a reminder that if you go over to mrforth.com/membership, you can check out these cool perks that come with becoming a supporter or member and help keep the projects going. But I'm actually really excited about the project. Oh, and you know what? I didn't pull up 4Coder today. That's one of the things I usually do before stream. But you get to see me do it live today. Like that. There we go. I'm really excited about the projects right now because we're getting really close to the point where we can actually do something maybe kind of cool and useful. But we got to do COFF relocations first to get there. And all of the sort of refactoring that needed to happen before we could get to COFF relocations was done last week. So today, Monday, beginning of the week, new task, which is to get on with COFF relocations. Now I did touch one little piece of this, which is mini ASM was at some point written to do more, but I guess I probably rolled it back. So let's see if we can do that again. I had MASM stuff here for a little bit. Looks like I might have. All right. Extern name type. So I think we can do extern. Well, do I want like def? Is that actually an option or something? I'm not sure. Let me see if I got this. So we want to do. I think something like that. And then we have to do. Right, and we want to turn on assemble and link. Okay. So it's not extern that I want. Maybe it's extern def after all. Like this. Extern def. Unresolved external symbol, so that's not it. Maybe there's no. No. What was the trick here? PE and COFF. So PE slash COFF. COFF is the PE is the format for executables and binaries, and it is mostly just a COFF file with an extra header plus an extra info. And a COFF file is the format that object files use, and that most of the executable format uses too. The way they overlap and the way they don't overlap is not a clean line. Why can't I just get someone showing me the directive for creating a variable? Like, come on. Bef, or declaring variables. It's imp or tent to understand the data types and sizes masm sup, or ts, variables data type, various data types like byte, word, dword, and qword, which or respond to 1, 2, 4, and 8 bytes respectively. Declarative syntax. The syntax or declaring a variable in masm is simple. Assembly, variable name, variable type, question mark. Here we go. They're going to do it. They're going to do it. That's not a bad idea. Maybe I should have ChatGPT on the side instead of Google search for this kind of thing. Google has become unreliable. But I don't know. I don't want to have to set that up right now. Could try Kagi. Don't have to. I have to pay for that though. I never did that. No, not variable names. What is the deal here? We had this just a couple days ago. God damn, I'm not finding anything that is useful right now. Alright, what am I missing? I've tried extern, and it goes... unresolved external symbol. So that's unresolved because it's an extern. How do I ask it to not be an extern? Just go back to the directives. Surely somewhere in here I will find the answer. But it's not going to be like that. Take me to the BNF grammar. Here's what I want to see. That's an argument. Okay, so extern key goes here in the extern directory. Extern list. Extern list gives you a bunch of extern defs, and extern def gives you an ID colon extern type, and extern type is abs or qualified type, right? Okay, fair enough. Data dir, this is probably it. Maybe not. I don't know. I don't know. Why can I never remember this basic thing? Okay, so it sounds like maybe this is the syntax that I need to make it local then? Oh, is it public? Is that the trick? There we go. Okay. Yeah, I'm not even trying to do the extern and import thing. I just want it to link to a variable in its own compilation unit. So I think the big idea of the syntax is you put the name of the thing and then the type of that thing. So some long name proc, and then or variable keyword, and then the value. So there the value is 0. Here the value is some assembly with an ending point, right? But I feel like that's the pattern. So build this. Now we're gonna bring up imhacks. MadFlash19 asks, what does it feel like to code in your own editor? That's a really hard question. I feel like that's asking a fish how it feels to swim in the water. I've been doing it for years now. It feels like what I do. I guess compared to coding in other editors, it feels like yeah, I think that what I just said about it being swimming in water is actually the right answer though, because it did not feel like that to be in any other editor. It felt like me and the thing were not just this symbiotic duo, this combo that was perfectly tuned to each other, which is how it feels now. That's why I don't even think about it. And I also don't think it's remarkable. I'm just like, it's just my editor, no biggie. I wish I had gotten 4Coder to the point where anyone who works in 4Coder could feel that about their own editing setup, that like it's just seamless with their preferences. That's hard. That's hard to do. It's hard to make it that customizable while still being good. So I want mini OBJ. And I want to see right there. We got some pointer to relocations. We got one relocation total. So 9E is the location for the relocations. 9E begins the relocations. Looks like they aligned it to an even address because there's a gap right here between the end of the section data and that. But there's the relocation data. So we've got a virtual address of 9, a symbol table index of 8, and a type of int. So what it's saying here, what it's trying to say, is that the virtual address 9 really means the offset into this section 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's saying that the symbol table index number 8 is going to tell us how to fill in those 4 bytes. And then it's saying it has a type field with the value that matches int, although I'm not convinced that that's the correct type of type field, so I'm not going to think about that too much. I have to go check that separately. But if we look at our symbol table, it doesn't look like it goes up to 8. But what we have to keep in mind is the symbol table sometimes uses auxiliary symbols. So there's 0, 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 5, 6 and 7. Here's number 8. And we get that the symbol is a variable. Okay, this right here is the wrong type for sure. That's the one that's the wrong type. It lives in section number 2 with an offset of 0. It is not a function type. It is static. No auxiliary symbols. So this thing is the thing we want to point at, and it's telling us, see, we have a offset and a section number. So this is giving us coordinates to our destination, the thing we're trying to point to, the target. We're trying to point to that from those 4 bytes that the relocation is positioned at on the other section. And where this ends up is not known. It's the only coordinates we have to it right now are that it's section 2 offset 0. So those coordinates will be translated into a final virtual offset or relative virtual offset or something like that by the relocation. But I think this type should be a relocation type, not a data type. I think that's a mistake in the COFF pattern here. Okay, so you have an example of how COFF relocations look. Now we're going to try to build them. So the test case mini asm is good. We built it and linked it. Can I... Alex Kelbo says that the type name should be 2 letters according to ChatGPT, and it's true. That's also true in the documentation. So I believe if I did QD right here, it would still build, although I turned it off. I believe it would still build. Oh, it doesn't. Who knows? That might be for a different syntax too. Keep in mind there are 2 different syntaxes for x64 assembly. Why can't you open mini.obj right now? What is going on that I am missing? It's not because it's open in this file or in this editor, is it? Let's take a look. Yeah, that works. But for some reason it can't finish the compilation now. Or the assembly. Is it because of this? No, it's something else. I don't see mini obj here at all. Right? Alright, mini-asm got updated. But why can't you rebuild mini.obj? That doesn't make any sense. Okay, there we go. That runs the generator. Links whatever we generated. Okay. I'm a little bit like getting my bearings here, it feels like. So, it's time to actually generate COFF relocations. We don't have constructor types and functions for that. Let me go ahead and run the generator to see what my generated thing looks like for now. Do I still have imhex open? Need that. Mini obj, yes. Ugh. There we go. Open that, compare that with not generated exe. No, don't apply the pattern. Open that with generated obj. Yes. Alright, so the goal here is to get to the point where I actually have a section with some symbols in it. So, for starters, we disagree on the number of sections, fine. We're going to need to change that. So why does mini obj have 3 sections? What's the third one? Dot debug. Okay. Nice. Okay. Okay, so the section table begins right here. What are these ones? I don't really know. These must be symbols for the sections. That's what it is. Okay, so what I need to do, it's clear I'm a little bit frazzled this morning. I'm gonna try a different approach, which is we are not going to try to do a good job today. Instead, I'm just gonna put on something non-distracting, like some video game music, video game remixes. For myself, you won't hear it on your side of the stream, but I'm going to just start hacking away at things that I know I need, even though I'm not sure how it all fits together yet. I can't seem to get a big picture today. Let's see. Image config, object config, headers and layouts, exports, imports, blah, 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 base relocations, unwind info, symbol table. I'm going to take the position that object file stuff comes before binary file stuff, actually. Okay, now let's see. These get attached to sections directly. We'll probably need a list of these one way or another. And we're probably going to need some way to say Okay. Now, we need to figure out how to add relocations. The relocation that we actually have an example of here in mini OBJ starts at 9E. It's type number 4. Rel 32. Okay. Now, what is the information that is relevant and goes into that relocation? Rel 32, 32-bit address from the byte following the relocation. I guess we just go with Hey Batman, welcome back to the stream. This symbol indexing is going to be a problem. Okay. Then there's one up here too for the section. Okay, so here's where there's going to be a problem. We have the symbol index here in the COFF relocation, which is what's supposed to get encoded in the final version. But when we go to fill that in, how are we going to know what our symbol index is? Here's what I mean. I have symbol push right here, which creates a new symbol for the object file, puts it on the symbol table. Now the point is, I need a relocation from this section to this, from this block to this block, right? This already has the correct location, the text block and the 0, so the symbol knows where it goes. The question is, how do I get this symbol lined up onto this, right? Because how do I know that this is index 0, right? If I go... Right, I can just kind of go for it. We'll say... We're not generating an image. We make a new list. We equip it onto text section. Okay. Okay, so where are we at? We've got COFF relocation list. We've got the COFF relocation. Now you can see the thing I'm not liking is that this 0 here indicates some long name. And how does it achieve indicating that? Well, just by the fact that this was the first one we happened to push. So the correlation here is very tenuous. If I ever change the order in which I push symbols on, all the indexes get wrong, right? So it feels like it would be better to do something like this. Right? But then I actually have to know the correct index in time. Another option might be to go like this, right? Just capture the symbol back from this and use that as the parameter. Then when we go to resolve these, we just need for the symbol table to have undergone a resolution as well. I think I like that best. At least as an API, it seems nice. So we still need the 9. That tells us where in the text section to place the relocation, sort of the pointer end. And the thing to point to is the symbol some long name. And then the question is, can we get the symbol index for some long name in a reasonable amount of time? Yep, we're just doing a bad job today. I think that this is one of those problems where a little bit more new mess needs to be created, and I'm not really in the mood for creating a mess, so it's bumming me out, but it's what has to be done on this day. So, bah. But I will point this out. This is the wrong symbol. Should be creating another symbol called variable. So the symbol named variable needs to go into this COFF relocation. Yes, reload it. Now this won't look any different. Or not much different. It's got 2 sections now, which is cool. That's our pointer to our symbol table. We have 2 symbols, whereas the other one has 10. Now, the section here shows no relocations. You see that? So, right here we get matching text MN, but virtual size, virtual address, size of raw data, pointer to raw data are different because of the number of sections. Pointer to relocations are different because this has relocations and this does not. So that's the part we want to fix. This should not be a 0, and this should not be a 0, right? So in order to achieve that, the relocations we attach need to become data blocks. Okay. So I believe the relocations are just packed 10 bytes at a time. Like, this should be kind of just a matter of going like this. Okay, so I have to figure out how this symbol pointer is going to turn into a symbol index at this point. So what has happened so far is that we know that the symbol we want to link to is this one. What we don't know is what index that'll have when it gets rendered, and this is the tricky part, right? This needs to exist after symbol table resolution has happened here. And what we're going to have to do is symbol table, yeah, that's going to have to come off as like... So there's the block that comes with it, but there's going to be more. And then... this will need that more. And then this will somehow give us... right, we're going to do something like that. Index from putter, here's the putter, here's the symbol table with the baked information. Should be able to get a symbol index from that. That puts this strictly downstream type-wise. From this. Okay, so all right, symbol table baked. We're almost there, except we need symbol index from putter still. How is this gonna work? So there's a couple of parts of this that are complicated. Like, I could just keep the chain and scan it linearly, and that would suck, but it would get kind of work. But even that wouldn't totally work, because these aren't always worth one. Sometimes a symbol takes up several slots. There's almost something like when we are doing the bake. Now that could be a hash table if we need to speed it up. But for now, we can just do Alex Kelbo asked if I test for max utility being returned at the calling site. No, I haven't done that yet. I was thinking about like what I want to do about that, but I'm also thinking about right now it's just buried in this. I don't really have an error system for the baking at all, and it's starting to feel like that might be necessary. So I think there's our constructor types and functions, and we are now working on the baker. And actually our baker might be done too, but there's still one thing, which is where do we call the baker from? This one's a little different than the rest of the bakers I've written, because usually I just call, like, you know, I just put all the things together into a data section and stick it there. But this does not go in a data section, so I think we have to put it inside of... If our section has COFF relocations, something like this. Let me push the secondary block on. And now, when we go to do obj header bake, All right, so secondary block gets baked, stuck on right here. We lay this out. The one thing I skipped that I want to make sure to remember is that this should be aligned to a multiple of 2. Okay, this isn't quite good enough because we still don't have in our section header, we have a relocations foff and a relocations count that are not getting filled. Patch position is going to be the layout sections relocations foff. There should be an foff 32, not a voff 32. And we want it to point at the secondary block. So the secondary block contains the baked version of the relocation list, which was attached to the section. And so if that exists, then we stick it in here, and then we fill in that portion of the layout section. Oh, this isn't a patch yet, is it? All we need to do is save this part for now. That's for later. We've got the secondary block. You know, I'll just call this the relocations block. Okay. So I don't know if it's working, but we just ran the generator. So we need to go take a look at what this looks like now. So there's no pointer to relocations yet, but there is this extra data sitting right here that looks a bit like it could be something. Now that's the beginning of the data section. And this should have been 4, 4, and 2 bytes instead of 4, 4, and 1. Just a little strange. Right, this is saying section number 1, or symbol index number 1. Wait, why would that be symbol index number 1? I'm not sure. Let's take a look at this through the eyes of... Wait, hold on. There's one thing I know is busted, which is we did the layout section relock count. We never did anything with the PE section. This is during obj header bake. Yeah, right here, the section headers come out. And this is where we need to do something like relocation count equals layout section relock count. We have to attach a patch right here. Set the relocations F off to point to the position that we get when we do okay. So now what's happening is the section table does show a pointer to relocations, and it does have one relocation. So our relocations start at 7, 6. Here's 7, 6. Starts right there. Virtual address, symbol table index, int. So this int is just wrong. This should be saying rel32. But this part here is interesting. I thought that should be a 0. Right? If the symbol table index pointer to symbol table is 8.4. So our first one okay. Our second one is variable. Never mind. So index 1 is the variable one, the offset of 0 in section number 2. Storage class external might be wrong. Okay, so I think the question now is, can I link that in? All right, my .data section might not be the right. Contains initialized data is probably what it should say. Okay, so I think it just linked the generated.exe. If it did, then okay, so it runs, seems to do the right thing. 10 plus 15. And if I were to go into my generator here and set this up to, so like, we don't want a 25, we want it to add up to 49, so we want to add in 24 right here. So here's 16, there's 24. So I built the generator, ran the linker, and then I run the program and I get 49. So that does in fact work. Cool. So that's COFF relocation baking. Okay, where are we at on time? 10 minutes for the day. We got COFF relocations up and running. So I think the question now is, what kind of goals do we want to set next? I think where we're at is that this round of research has gone pretty well. There are still a lot of production style things, like I could fill in the details, I could clean up some API stuff. Let's take a look, like right here, this thing where we go to like section, push, and we're doing like this equip thing. I feel like this is fine, but it could be better, right? That's a little bit less than ideal. The symbol table bake. This API actually worked out nicely, that we bake the symbol table into a block of data and some acceleration data structure and equip that onto the obj config. So I like that. Obj header bake then has the responsibility of putting that together into a header and layout that can be used. And then so yeah, some of this is good and some of it's a bit off. So I think where we're at is, while there are some, production stuff on the checks and the new features to get, there's an idea for a tool to do, there's an idea for, building out the rest of the symbol table features, there's an idea for acceleration. So these are all things that we could do to make this more production ready. And this down here is something we could do to test out, spread our wings and see if we could fly a little bit on top of what we've got. But I think there's another big question, which is like, taking one giant step out, not just focusing on the PE generator or the COFF generator features here, but on the whole PE COFF deep dive project. Where are we? Do we want to move on to a different portion of the project? Because we could, for instance, start talking about abstracting this by switching over to the ELF format and doing object files and binary files for ELF, which would expand what formats we're capable of handling, what operating systems our tools are relevant to. We could also start talking about how to make a visualization system for all of this. We could also start talking about how to build linkers out of all of this. And these kinds of big project directions might be worth exploring before going into production on this, because right now we would be going into production on it without any particular use case in mind, besides maybe this one sort of simple tool idea. But maybe putting these bigger goals onto the table as constraints might be worthwhile. Like, this will constrain us in major ways, make us think about the design all over again. This will constrain us in major ways, especially giving us new problems to be able to solve, and the ability to query through the data in different ways, right? When you're building constructors, or constructors and dumpers, or generators and dumpers, it's a lot of data transforms, but when you're doing queries in and displaying, you tend to slice through the data and accessing different patterns and stuff. And so the kinds of accelerators we might want would change, plus we would be pushing ourselves to think about visualizations. And this, combined with the ability to abstract, leads to something else that's important, which is all of this. All of this is something I've been working on, so that someday I could get to the point of having this visualization tool with a plugin architecture for different formats, like PE, COFF versus ELF. And if I got to the point where I had that, then we could get back to Mr. Fourth Base, which is currently stalled out on needing a better way to study the version mismatch problems. So I think I need to take some time, maybe this afternoon, to think about big picture stuff and which direction is most valuable right now. The generator project has definitely taken a good amount of time and pushed my knowledge of the format quite far, but I'm not sure that more of this is necessary right now. I don't necessarily want to go into production on that piece before I've touched some of the other researchy ends of this. So yeah, I'm gonna just say we don't know what we're doing next, but I think we've reached a good big milestone, and we'll think about next steps and talk about it in the next couple days probably. Speaking of which, just to talk schedule for the week, here's what's going on. I'm gonna be streaming tomorrow and Wednesday. I'm gonna take Thursday off for a mini vacation I've already planned. Then I'll be back on Friday for Four Coder Friday on my usual streaming time. And then on Friday afternoon, I am going to hop on stream again for a little while to talk about the Handmade Network Wheel Reinvention Jam because I'm going to participate in that next week. And here, I'm going to participate in this next week. So on Friday this week, if you come around the 20th, around maybe 1 or 2 p.m. on Friday, Pacific time, I'm going to hop on stream just to sort through all the ideas I have for jam projects and pick one that I think I would like to prep and get ready for this week-long jam, which will start on the 23rd and go all week. 7 days straight, I'll be streaming and working on that. So if you want to follow my jam progress and see my choice for what jam project I'm going to be doing, that's starting on Friday this week. That's all the announcements of what's going on. Don't forget that all of these projects are funded by people like you who check it out and decide that they would like to support or become a member by going to mrforth.com/membership. And don't feel like you have to do this every month if you can't afford that. A one-time thing can work. You can save some if you want to be a supporter for a long time by going yearly, and check out a lot of these rewards are cool. Sooner or later I'm going to start selling stuff. If we start coming out with tools and documentation packages and stuff, I'll start selling that. And if you want to buy those, then supporting now will mean you get double the perks. You get the perks plus you get to use that money again to buy what's coming out. So I think that's cool. But check it out for yourself, see if it fits, and thanks for checking out all the projects I'm working on right now. I'll see you around the internet. Bye.